You're listening to a Sin Media podcast, where young people run the show.
This is a podcast all about a different way of experiencing cinema with little to no knowledge about it beforehand. My name is Scott Martin, and a hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Oliver Deer.
I do love a nice cold beer, refreshing aftertaste. Yes, that's me. Here I am, an aftertaste in your mouth and saying hello to you.
Aftertastes can be really bad, so I'm glad that you've decided to lay it out on the table that you're a good aftertaste.
Yeah, and opposed to your somewhat tangy aftertaste, Scott Martin.
Thank you much.
What tangy things are you up to these days?
Well, I'll say that between last episode and this episode, some major events have happened. I've got a new job. I'm not going to go talking about it too much, but big things are happening over on this side of things. That's exciting. Yep. And what about you, Ollie? Big things have happened in the last 2 weeks?
I suppose so. I've got a cold, and that was quite big. I was looking forward to it on my calendar. I saw that the month of June was coming up, and I thought, oh, here we go. Sickness is inbound. So I'm really, really, really pleased to be with sickness at the moment.
That's really good.
There we go. There's some proof.
That sounds really great.
It isn't. And so I'm all rugged up, and I'm speaking to you on this side of the audio fence.
Yes, perfect conditions to be podcasting. We're going to be talking about The Incredibles this week. Animated
Hooray.
Disney Pixar film way back in 2004, 14 years ago. The first one came out. Ollie, I think we should just go straight into the discussion, because I'm sure that we both just came out of it, actually. We left viewing this one really late, so hopefully the opinions aren't going to be in shambles. But do you think it was worth the wait?
It's possibly a good question. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, it was good. Like I really liked it. I don't think it in my mind it wasn't as hyped up as it might have been for some people. Like I didn't feel a lot of hype around it up until seeing it and thinking, yeah, damn, that was good, and it didn't call back too much to the old one. It was just its own new story, and so yeah. What do you think?
I think the same thing, that it was good, very good movie. I was hyped going into it because I loved the first Incredibles movie. I hadn't seen it in quite a while. I even checked Netflix sometime this week to see if I could peep it again, but unfortunately it wasn't there. But I think that overall the hype was realized and worth it.
Yeah, definitely. The animation and the new animation looks so damn good. Like I know you said you hadn't seen it recently, but I did watch it maybe 2 weeks ago, and you can just see, like, for the time you would have never known that animation could have got better, but it really has. Like,
yeah,
everything in the background looks almost real, and it's just like the main characters and all the people that look like cartoons still, because like that's just how they're animating it. But everything in the background looks so like just pristine and beautiful.
There was an actual example of that I saw, that it was like a very close up shot of Mr. Incredible, and it's entirely animated, it's entirely cartoony, because it had to have been, because that's the continuity from 14 years ago. And then it cut to an exterior shot of the high school that Violet goes to, and I was like, this looks photorealistic. Like, the cracks on the wall are insane. Oh my god. And then it cuts to Violet, who is literally as thin as paper. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. We're watching a cartoon.
The story was really good. I didn't actually know going in if... I kind of knew that the Underminer probably wouldn't be like the main villain, and he wasn't. But they still opened the movie with him. So that was cool. But I wasn't actually sure. I thought maybe the movie is going to be about him, because I think he was on the poster.
He was a big part of the promotional material, yeah, because a lot of people will remember and were nostalgic from, the 6 months after viewing the original and going, man, I can't wait for a sequel, not knowing that they'd have to wait over a decade.
Yeah.
so yeah, completely understandable to chuck that onto the posters and whatnot. But I'm glad that they didn't just make him the overall villain. That being said, my major gripe with the film was the relatively basic villain reveal.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Spoilers for Uncharted 2? No, that was ages ago. The Incredibles 2. We're gonna dive right into it, but yeah, the villain, especially compared to the original with what was his name?
Syndrome.
Sinbad. Yeah. He was in the desert, and he's running around. Jake Gleichen holding it up, in that typical Prince of Persia fashion.
What are you talking about?
It's very easy to get Sinbad and the Prince of Persia mixed up. Okay, Ollie, that's what I was riffing on there.
Okay.
But yeah, that villain is like top tier superhero film of all time villains, and this was like so basic and bland and boring. Not so much the intentions of the character, but the fact that it was like, ooh, this is the reveal, and all of the people in the cinema, including the literal 3 and 4 year old kids that I was sitting next to, were all like, yeah, come on, Pixar. We know who it's going to be.
It was so obvious.
It's going to be one or two people.
Yeah. Or both. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the only question was, is it both the two people or one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my top note as well. Fairly predictable villain twist.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the screenslaver. He was that was a cool idea for a villain, that he can use screens to hypnotize everyone, and because his motive is that everyone uses screens too much, and he's a social justice warrior.
Topical. It's topical.
Yeah, it was a fairly typical twist, and what's his name? The main guy, the Bob Odenkirk's character.
I prepare my notes every week now with a screenshot of the IMDb list. Hold on. Winston Deva or Deva. Winston.
Yeah. I swear I saw that guy's face and was like, this dude's probably voiced by like Bob Odenkirk, because it looks like him. It looks like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, and wasn't he great though?
Yeah, he's nice. I liked him.
You know what is crazy is Samuel L. Jackson's in this, and every time Frozone opens his mouth, you go, it's Samuel L. Jackson. But then you realize Samuel L. Jackson is in a film where he's like not front and center, and you're like, oh, he must really love this franchise, or else he could completely just not have made that comeback, you know?
Yeah.
He seems like such a big name that he could have just not been a part of it, and that would have been okay.
I feel like it's one of his, like, as a part people know him from. A lot of people know him from that, because a lot of people have seen Incredibles when they were kids, so they know him from it.
Yeah, true.
So that, yeah, he probably does like the part a lot. Did you like the structure of the movie and how it was Elastigirl doing her own thing out being a superhero, and then it was just Bob at home with the kids, and I really enjoyed all the just Bob at home with the kids bits.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, I think the entire plot of the film was very well done and very well paced. It was at the end like wrapped up in a neat bow, with the necessary changes that needed to be made were made and whatnot. But yeah, what I'm saying there is like it's a great little package overall, and I enjoyed it from start to finish. It's
so good that they don't go, oh, we've got the biggest problem in the world, the world's going to end, blah, 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 and everything's in jeopardy. But they've gone a little bit action with the Elastigirl plotline, and then they've just gone so small and, compact with Bob's story, just being at home and what it's like to be a superhero at home with kids. And I think it's really focused, and it's not so massive that you just feel like, oh, here we go, the world's ending again.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And watching the first one as well back in the day, where I would always like identify with Dash, and then now I'm identifying with Bob because I'm an old man and a parent. And I'm just like, oh, I completely understand the tribulations here. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, Dash is being a little shyster running around causing havoc, and you're just like, oh, poor Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to He's got to go to sleep soon, man. He's not getting it. He's not getting his 8 hours.
I loved the animation of how they made him look so tired. It was so believable.
Yeah.
Like, even without like dialogue, like when Edna was looking at the screen and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's just completely silent. And he's like essentially falling asleep at the wheel. Like, props to the animation team there, because oh my god, I was so tired for him. I'm like, I'll just have a little nap in the corner here and add to his hours. I wish I could.
And he's still speaking like so quickly, like an animated character would, but just like in such a monotone. He's like, "Oh yeah, just at home, coming to see you with the baby. You know, they've changed math. I don't know why they changed math, but
Man, math is no good though.
nah, I definitely identify with. You know, he's such a relatable character, such relatable problems.
I was surprised to find out that I was finding myself enjoying Violet the most. I think she had the coolest, well, not coolest plotline, because obviously Elastigirl was kicking ass, but I really enjoyed Violet's part in this film.
Yeah, she's super like you can super understand that that's a real character, and she seems very believable.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
I guess some of the problems are relatable as well.
We've all spit water out of our noses at restaurants.
Yeah, that bit was so surprisingly just like that is exactly how a family embarrassing moment happens. Like everyone else in the family just wants to make like fun of it, and she's literally suffering like from anxiety of that situation.
And Dash is like basically standing on top of her to try to reach over and shake the hand of the dude.
Yeah. All the characters were really really believable, and some of the I don't know if you notice all the little slight details in the animation, just because I've been learning it lately, and I can see some of the really crazy bits that they do. You know, just when what's the bad villain's name? Who's the girl?
Evelyn.
Yeah. When the first time you see her, she's just juggling a bunch of props, but she's like going ballistic. You know when she walks in the room and she's throwing a bunch of things around in her coat and stuff?
She's
like,
quickly trying to take off her coat and run towards the group.
Yeah, she's so jittery, and I just think, oh my god, that would have taken like weeks to just do that. It's crazy. Another thing I really appreciate, and I think something Marvel movies like and could learn a little lesson from the old Incredibles.
Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. A bit of an opinion. Is this movie has so many superpowers in it? Like, you get to see a fight just where you're seeing all these cool superpowers. There's people throwing force fields and voids and super speed, Jack turning into all these different things, and all those other superheroes with their weird stuff, like a guy who crushes and stuff.
I loved him.
Whereas in other, you know, I think I said it last week, or must have said it once. I feel like I've had this rant before. I feel all the people in Marvel, they just have a lot of strength. Like, that's their power. You know, buddy, who's in the Avengers? You got
Cap, who's strong.
Captain America. He's really strong.
Thor, who's strong.
Thor's strong with the hammer. Hulk's really strong. Like, but he's super strong. You know, he's so strong.
He's Jack when Jack went giant and he ran through the wall. And I was thinking they're gonna do a great Thor and Hulk-esque battle here between Violet and Jack. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. And you know who else is in Marvel? The Winter Soldier.
Drax.
He's got a strong arm. Drax is a strong fighter.
Yep.
Strong tree. Strong. Everyone's strong. That's all that they could do. They just hit things really hard. Thanos. You know, I imagine Thanos without a glove. He's strong.
He's just massively strong and has an agenda.
They're not like they don't have. A lot of them just don't have superpowers. Well, they do. They're superheroes. But yeah, weird. Not exactly superpowers. When I think of superpowers, I'm thinking more like X-Men. Like they've got like a strange superpower. Like, you know, you can walk through walls, all that. And I remember the last time seeing so many actual powers in one place was X-Men Days of Future Past. Have you seen that one?
Yes, that was the first one I seen, I think, and I really loved it. Genuinely,
like, really good, the time travel one. And a lot of the good X-Men ones usually have a lot of powers because there's so many different characters, and the whole point of those movies is like everyone is a mutant and everyone has a different thing.
Right.
So, and and that was cool to see in this one, was you getting lots of whiffs of little superpowers here and there with Jack and finding out his powers. But then at the end, you've just got this full-blown, everyone's using a power, and everyone's like combining their powers in different cool ways. And it was awesome to see.
Yeah, definitely. And there was the whole, the Incredibles characters is somewhat based on the Fantastic Four, which is ironic since the Fantastic Four actually has had live movies released and they're nowhere near as good. You can tell in what way animation can help out that, not necessarily just the superhero genre, but like making elastic powers look acceptable on screen. I was thinking that throughout, even though Marvel has recently made it possible to have a Fantastic Four film, I don't know if I could ever take that seriously. Like, turning into like a human trampoline or whatever for your other characters.
Yeah, exactly. Because you feel like some of the animated characters, like, they're squishy. They can take a hit because they're like all made of rubber sort of thing, or they're all like, they look like they're made of plastic. In the sense that they're animate.
Also, when I said that the X-Men Days of Future Past movie was the first one I saw, I lied. And when I said I really, really loved it, I lied. I liked it a lot, but I was thinking of First Class, which is the one on the beach, right? And at the end, they're on a beach. I loved that so much. Oh, my God.
That also had a lot of superpowers, so that one's a good one, too.
Great. What about The Last Stand from 2006?
Notoriously not a good movie.
Oh.
But apparently, I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I literally don't, I have no idea. There are so many of them.
Yeah. So many timelines and nothing makes sense. But things make sense in Incredibles. Do you have any other notes on seeing this movie? Oh yeah. What did you think of the trailer and what were you expecting to see?
I was just expecting to see a lot of the same from the first one.
Yeah,
I was expecting to see some goofs. I was expecting to see some gaffes. I was expecting to see some cool action because you could tell from the trailers they were really upping the action sequences, which I think was maybe not the most memorable. I think I'm going to hand that to Bob in the house as like the most memorable moments. But I was expecting much more fleshed out and interesting action scenes, and I definitely got that. And I was expecting more focus on Helen, which is great because she was so like underappreciated. I feel like in the first one, like I just loved how much more time they spent utilizing her in this one.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't just go with Bob is on an adventure again. It's good that they're like, hey, let's just change the main character, and because that, like, when you do that, it changes it for the audience and as well, and they get to see something new.
I also, what did you think of when Bob Odenkirk first says, hey, let's start off with Elastigirl, and Bob was like not having it? Is that not good? Is that problematic?
Yeah,
and he had nothing really to say as well. Like, and also, this is in real time. This is 14 years in the future, but in their time, this has taken place in 2004, baby. So it was a different time back then, and he was just straight up. He had no answer. All he could say was, look at her, then goes, And I'm like, baby, I know exactly what you thinking that you knowing, but you ain't knowing nothing. I tell you what.
I also thought about that. I think that it just made him more interesting. It made him like not only is a guy with a massive ego because he's literally Mr. Incredible, and it kind of seems like he was the protagonist even when back in the glory days when there were lots of superheroes. It seems like even then he was like the main one. I think it's interesting that Helen she knows this about him and doesn't really mind.
Okay, yeah, I suppose she does just kind of not completely shuts him down in his place, but puts him in his place and then shrugs it off,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she kind of just knows this about him and still apparently still loves it about him, and because she storms off, she just wants to have her go. She's not necessarily mad that, or like she's not upset that he's moody about it. I don't think, as long as he accepts it.
And he did accept it. There was just that 2.5 minute sequence of them being in the meeting to them sharing that scene in the hotel room where I'm like completely off Mr. Incredible for a moment. I'm like, oh, this guy is a dickhead. But then he becomes nicer throughout. Back to the trailers. I don't think it super spoiled much. I just remember before seeing the film, I'm very excited to see this, which means that they did a good job. I'll admit it has. I didn't watch the trailer just before the film like I do normally because Scotty was running late and didn't have time. And also, absolute madness in the cinema, Ollie. I had to sit next to somebody this time.
Oh no, so did I. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, child.
Mm-hmm. I was dreading that. I feel so bad for you. Was he a noisy child?
No, very, very, very lovely. Actually, it was me on the corner. I just specifically halved my chance of sitting next to children by sitting on the corner, and then a family came. It was, I think they had like 4 kids, and it was in the corner of the room, right in the front row, because it was really, really, really packed. And I got there early, thinking it was going to be packed. That's why I couldn't get the trailer out, because I didn't want to like annoy the people around me. And the little lane that I was in is only like 4 seats. So what they did was they got the mum to sit there with a kid, and then the dad and the 3 other children, they were like sitting on like the hall, like next to me, like, you know, but that wasn't so bad because they were away. But there was this one kid that had finished his drink before the movie had started, and then spent the first 15 minutes like sucking through the straw, like while it was still, like not like annoyingly like he could get some paper and mush it up and turn it into a spitball, but like while it was in the cup still, so it was like really like acoustic, like.
That is annoying.
First 15 minutes or so. So it got better. The person, the little kid that was sitting next to me was very, very respectful and didn't say a single word throughout the whole film, which was okay. But God, I hate sitting in the cinema, and also just rowdy kids in general in the movie theater. I'm aware I'm paying for a children's film, so I'm not upset about it as much as I would if I was seeing like the Avengers. If there were this many kids in the Avengers, I would be upset. But this is an animated Disney film, and I shouldn't be so upset by the fact I had to sit next to somebody that I don't know, let alone a child.
Yeah. We haven't had to encounter this problem too much because we haven't gone and seen a lot of kids' films. I think...
Yeah, you're right. And even the ones that we had, we watched them at home, like Captain Underpants.
Yeah. The last one I saw was Isle of Dogs, but I don't know if you even watched that. But there were lots of kids there.
Is that a kids' movie?
Well, it's rated PG. It has some non-kid themes in it, but there were a lot of kids in there because it's animated.
I think more about Wes Anderson than I do about animated when I think about that movie. So that's why my response then was, really, kids? Because I'm just thinking of perfectly framed frames.
Yeah. I also had a cinema experience, Scott.
Interesting colours. Yes, what was your experience?
Now, a person we know works at Reading Cinema, I found out. Michael and he has acted in one of our short films.
Oh, hello. Hello, Michael, if you're listening. You were good in that short film that we made.
He was good. And I noticed, I was sitting up the top, and I noticed that there was these people, these 2 women standing on the aisle waiting to go into the row. And I thought, okay, someone has taken their seat, right?
Yeah.
And they're waiting. And so they had to get Michael to come and sort it out. And so Michael goes into the row and he has a conversation. And immediately one of the people that was sitting in their seats comes out and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was arranged seating in this one. And then, like, they still aren't going to sit down. And I think, oh, what's happened? And apparently, like, this other teenager who is still sitting in the seat... she's like not having it, and Michael has to like force her to get up, and she's like, Michael said after to me that she like threatened to kill him or whatever, or was calling him a C word, and then all I saw was she got up and then she looked at the people who were waiting to get in their own seats and just goes, you're some kind of C word, aren't you? What's wrong with you? It's just a C. It's like, I was like, oh, that's so like, it's just so bogan and so like petty. But yeah,
I
thought
bet.
that's an interesting thing to happen in a kids' film, to be the C words getting chucked around.
Oh man, and obviously that person is very cool. You can tell. You can tell from the language and from the body
Yeah.
language as well, just how cool that person is. I bet that
Yeah.
when Michael was speaking to her, at first she saw how much of like a true pacifist he is, and didn't want any and didn't want any abuse to be copped towards him.
Yeah.
And then she took advantage of that. And then this Norman Bates looking guy gave her a quick little Norman Bates last scene of Psycho little smirk, and that's when she got up. Because if you don't know, you're listening to this podcast, you don't know our friend Michael. Oh my God, Anthony Perkins' son. Ain't
He's
he?
Anthony Perkins with red hair. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, he said after to me, like, when he's working, he isn't a person, and he operates like a robot and doesn't see anything. And
Right.
I can just imagine that kind of situation just woke him up a bit. Like, he was like, oh, I'm in a cinema. How did I get here? Oh my God, someone's yelling at me. What the hell?
Mother.
Yeah.
Here's another question for you, Ollie, regarding this story. You
Yep.
say that one of your good friends is working at a movie theater. Did you
Yep.
give him a little nudge and ask for a gold class upgrade?
Oh, I didn't. I should. I should do that to him.
You could have
I
been
don't
watching
know.
The Incredibles with your feet up and having a cheeky little bevy, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh,
If you played your card
I
right.
did have my feet up because it was a premium. It was still a premium theater because that was like the only thing available. But yeah, I literally handed, not this time but another time, I handed Michael my ticket to get into the cinema, and I looked at him in the face, and he looked at me, and he didn't recognize me because he
No.
like he said, he's just a robot who doesn't see anything when he's working.
That is so good. That is so great. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any more to say about The Incredibles?
Only other thing I thought about the trailer was that I guess it revealed more than I thought it would. I thought maybe they would go the route of like convincing you that the Underminer was the main villain, but
Yeah.
they kind of didn't. But like, and it wasn't bad. Like they didn't really reveal anything too massive. They barely even show the actual villains. They focus more on showing, hey, the synopsis or the plot summary for our movie is that Elastigirl's out and about and Bob's at home, and that's the movie. And you're like, yeah, cool. So they do kind of just tell you what you need to know. They don't reveal any end game happenings. So that's good.
Yeah. I do think as well, also, that the trailer did a good job in showing great parts of the film, but not showing the entirety of that scene. Like, for example, Bob being upset that Dash's homework was too hard, and then that was funny on its own. And then later on in the film, like, a really like refreshing and cool moment is showing that he, even though he is absolutely exhausted, he can't get to sleep because he's too busy like wanting to make sure that Dash's homework is done. So he spends the whole night studying it up, and then the next day he's fresh as a daisy, even though he's been up all night, so that he could send the kid on his way to school. And that was like the much better part of that scene.
All right. So in the trailer, it looks like a one-off joke or something, but it actually turns into a bit of a his relationship with Dash almost. Like that's how he helps
Exactly.
Dash around the house. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, what are you giving the film in terms of a score and the trailer?
I absolutely loved this.
Yep.
I think that the characterization was excellent. I love that they gave all of the characters a chance to shine in their own way, even if it was Bob not being super and Violet having like a really crazy epic battle, even though she doesn't seem like the violent type. Like, that was like a cool way to show her shining in more ways than one. I think that Dash was underused really badly. I think that's another issue that I had, that Dash wasn't as big of a deal and didn't have like a cool, oh my god, that's another way of like expanding his powers moments.
Yeah,
so that's
right.
a shame. But yeah, it was everything that I really wanted it to be, except for that Dash fact. I really, really loved it, so I'm going to give it a HD.
Yeah, awesome. I reckon it deserves that as well, because you know, the jokes are all good. They're timeless in a way, and that it's lots of visual comedy, like, you know, no pop culture references or anything like that. And even what was your thing before where you said current? You know, when it's current, it's a current issue.
Topical. It's topical.
Topical, yeah. At the end where, what's her name again? Elizabeth, the
Boy.
bad guy. No, you told me.
You paying
before.
attention through this kids movie or nah? It's Evelyn.
Evelyn, when she gets put into jail, and then someone's like, "Oh, don't worry, she's rich, so she'll probably just get a slap on the wrist."
Yes, that was very cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, and I'm finding myself to enjoy Violet most of all. I think she's the most interesting character out of all of them.
Definitely, Bob for me. He's the bumbling fool that I wanted him to be.
They're all great. That's the good point. They're all
Yeah.
so interesting. Especially Jack Jack. I think Jack Jack stole the show. I think that scene with the raccoon was top notch.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And then just when he's an interdimensional baby, and then it's like, oh, he's in the fourth dimension now. Okay.
Oh man, best joke. I think most underappreciated joke at least is sleep deprived Bob walking around the house going num num cookie num 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 num.
Yeah.
Num, num, num.
Because he's figured out that's just what you have to do is give him cookies. And then like, Frozone's looking at him like, what has happened to you?
But the delivery on num 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 cookie num num num.
I like his voice actor. I don't know who it is, but...
I can tell you who it is, Ollie, if you give me 2 seconds. It's Craig T. Nelson.
What else has he done?
I don't know. I told you it's a screenshot.
Okay.
I can't.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
can't click on it. I can tell you though that the person who plays Edna is Brad Bird, who is the person that made the entire film and the series and directed a lot of cool stuff.
I did know that about... Apparently he did it just as a temporary audio.
That's
and then
right.
they kept it because they thought it was funny.
Yeah, like no one could do the accent as good as he could. What a cool,
Yeah.
what a cool fact. All right, what are you going to give the trailer out of 10 out of a HD? I mean,
Don't we give distinctions for things that are fine and don't break any rules. You
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
make any offences.
the threshold is a distinction if you don't completely muck up your own promotional material. And I'm sorry for saying 10 earlier. I've got Kanye West's Wyoming sessions in my head. So I'm just thinking about they all 10s,
Yeah.
baby. Yes, exactly. I'm going to give this a distinction as well.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, do you want to move on?
Yeah, move on and keep moving forward and play a little game.
Okay, great. Do you want to play the Fruit is a Cute first or Pet Peeves?
My favourite game is Pet Peeves.
Pet Peeves is entirely self, you understand it, don't you? I
Yeah,
don't need to
I
explain what
get it.
Pet Peeve is.
I think it's got such a good name that we don't have to explain it. Whereas when we say the fruit is a cute, some people will be like, what does that mean?
I definitely have to explain it every time, and I will
Yeah.
later on as well in this episode. All right, so my pet peeve for this week. It's been a while since we've done this, so this is exciting. My pet peeve. This time it's not a dialogue one, Ollie. Can you imagine?
That's rare. Okay.
It
Interesting.
is rare. My pet peeve is when characters willy-nilly just throw shit on the floor.
This
It's when they just-
This is a life peeve. I don't like normal people just throwing things on the floor. Ooh, okay,
That's
give me some
absolutely right.
examples.
All right, so it's just when you don't have time to walk to a bin. I understand that. I just chuck something in your pocket, but these characters are just straight up like it. Whether it's mostly symbolic, honestly, but they don't seem to care about littering. They just think that littering is not a big deal, but
Yeah.
it's most likely symbolic. So the reason why I thought of this peeve this week is I'm doing an odd job for a other podcaster in which I'm listening to a lot of their episodes.
Yeah.
And they they absolutely love the Batman films, the Christopher Nolan Batman films.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I watched The Dark Knight Rises. So I was just on YouTube and just looking up selected clips from there on like movie clips, whatever the site is. And it's when Jordan Gordon-Levitt, he takes his Gotham Police Department badge and just throws it into a river. Mate, you're a cop. Don't be throwing stuff.
He knows about littering more than anyone. He enforces that law.
Exactly. Exactly right. There could be marine life in that there river, and you're choking a orca right there.
Because orcas come into the city bay. But
Yeah.
But also, how irresponsible. Because I'm sure that, genuine cop badges would sell for a lot on the black market so that people can buy things illegally or do illegal things. And he's just chucked that in there.
Exactly.
And do you know what? Mob bosses, notorious for throwing dead bodies,
I
off
was
the side.
just about to say the same thing. There will be so many criminal people on little
Dinghies.
dinghies. Yes, they're going to be on their little dinghies, absolute Bates Motel style, just throwing dead bodies into a river, and they're going to come across this really expensive, almost priceless, important badge, real life badge.
I do wonder if our badge is important. Do they? He probably has his name on it. I don't know.
I'm putting this on the record. There was a one time, well, I work in a place in which identification is important, and I asked for ID of this patron, and they flashed me their police badge, and I completely accepted it, even though it's not a legitimate form of identification, and the fact that I let that slide is literally breaking the law.
That I would have loved that story. Like I like that story in general, but it would have been amazing if you had said, "Sorry, not a valid form of ID. I'm going to need to see something with a photo." Thank you."
Or he shows me the badge, and then I say, you can't be less than 18 and have one of those. I understand it. It's not a legitimate form of identification. Doesn't have a photo on it. Doesn't have your birthday on it. But don't worry about it. I understand. And then he walks over the counter and cuffs me because I literally just broke the law.
You could just tell him that you only had to ask because he looks under 25, and therefore he's beautiful and still got his youth. And then he'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then
Yeah.
he'd give you a free pass. Anyway, with your throwing things on the ground, I can totally understand why people do it, because it's like, if you've got someone and they've got a clean house, and their house is clean, and that's like, you're like, "Oh, okay, it fits with the character. They're very tidy," and then they put something on the ground, and close up, character change. He's not tidy anymore.
Again, it's all comes down to symbolism.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're a badass character and you've got like a cigarette and you're just gonna like flick it into the streets, like, that's to show how badass and cool I am. Look at me go. I don't care for the environment. But me, I do care for the environment, and I'm thinking, I don't care if that's symbolic of your badassery. Pick that up.
Pick it up.
Just point at him. Pick that up. Another example is I had to find this one online because it's not often that it happens. So it's been a little while since I've seen this, but apparently in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, when Charlie finds the golden ticket, he just throws the wrapper on the street, and also the chocolate as well. Like, he takes the golden ticket, but he just throws the chocolate like next to the curb.
That is so unbelievable, because his whole character is that he's very poor. He would value that chocolate. He would value it so much.
Oh, but maybe he values the golden ticket so much that starvation is literally not an issue for him anymore. That his poverty is excused at this point.
Yeah, he's like, what a character. He's all right. He's doing well. He's got his golden ticket. He's allowed to make a few mistakes. But we're out here being like, no, littering is littering, and we'll have none of it. Come to think of it, how many people jaywalk in the films? Hey, how many people are doing that? It's another crime.
Hey, I'm walking here. The most important line in cinema history.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah.
Came from jaywalking.
Was he jaywalking?
Well, a car almost ran him over, and so I imagine that the car would have the right of way, and he would just be doing the correct thing. The fact that there's someone on the street would completely make sense. Hey, I'm walking here.
What I would like is for some sort of lawyer podcast where he sits down and analyzes characters' decisions or small things that happen in movies and sees who's right and wrong in the eyes of the law.
Or just like how much time this character would spend in prison if all of the shit that he or she had done gets caught up with him or her.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well that's my pet peeve for this week, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. This is a good. I love a petty one.
Oh, thank you. I love a petty peeve.
Oh, that's where it comes from.
Also, this is another one from online. I just quickly saw this one. When Elsa is singing "Let It Go" in Frozen, and like, ooh, she's gonna become the Ice Queen. She's no longer Elsa, the lovely princess, and she takes off her cape, and it just flutters away in the wind.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
And
I
it's
remember
never
that.
seen again. It's never seen again. But like then in like the third verse, she takes off her crown and throws it, and you think, oh, we're never going to see that again. But then it comes back in the after credit scene when that big snow monster like walks after the credit into like this like black empty space, and finds it and picks it up and puts it on his head.
Okay, we see.
So that's an example of littering actually being, what's the opposite of beneficial?
Maleficial.
Negative. Yes, that to the environment. That creature was just walking around, and because of your intolerant littering, actually got caught up with that monster.
Yeah.
You know, that friendly creature.
It's like the whole point of that after credit scene was to show that, hey, that it was like the creators saying, hey, we know that Elsa littered, and here we're showing that it does have effects on the environment, and it does affect wildlife.
Exactly.
And that's what it was completing the arc of that.
It's the Disney equivalent of a sea turtle having his head wrapped around a 6-pack of beers, you know?
Yeah, it is.
In the ocean.
The crown wrapped around an abominable snowman.
What a terrible person.
So sad.
Yeah. All right, great. Let's move on. Let's play another game.
Yeah. My favourite game. Fruit is
Alright.
Acute. Doesn't need explaining that title.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
The Fruit is Acute is a game in which I present to Oliver movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, how many % did that movie get on Rotten Tomatoes? Usually there is a theme, and I'm going to say that there is a theme to this one.
Right.
So here we go. Oliver, I'm going to give you, let's do 5 this week.
Yep.
And then there's going to be The Incredibles at the end.
Okay.
The Incredibles 2, I should
Oh,
say.
I
And you can
think-
tell me what you think it should have.
I think I've seen it. I've
Oh,
seen
okay,
what the score for Incredibles
Alright.
is.
We'll save it to the end regardless. The Iron Giant.
Oh, someone spoke to me about this movie recently. Was it you?
Yeah, me, when we were watching Ready Player One.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, The Iron Giant. Okay. Classic film. Let's say 92.
You would be correct.
Ah,
yes.
yes, I often am. How close was I?
You were close to not being correct. That's actually got 96%.
Oh, doing well for itself.
Yeah, you were tiptoeing the line there. Oh. Let's go back in time. 14 years back in time. What did the original The Incredibles get?
Ah, I reckon that got 92 as well. Oh, here we go. Oh, hello, French man. What a-
Okay, racist, and that is very problematic of you.
I was thinking.
Absolutely step back.
I'm sorry, I was just thinking about Pixar films and also the Ratatouille movie, which is a French film.
Oh, is that so? Okay,
Yep.
well, The Incredibles, you were correct. You tiptoed the line even more by being exactly 5% away. That's got 97%.
Oh boy, the Pixar does so well, don't they? They're so good.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You better believe it. Now, Ollie, what movie did you mention 2 seconds ago?
Ratatouille.
What did it get?
I don't know what it has on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think I've told you before that this is the highest reviewed film, or has the highest score on Metacritic, which is weird.
Yeah.
To me,
Okay.
at least.
I have the Metacritic score in front of me as well, so...
It's not it's not something I'd associate with having such a highbrow status.
I have never even seen it.
Really, it's I've seen half
No.
of it. It's good. It is good, but it's about a rat, and rats are gross.
I'm not going to watch it. Seems too French. All right, what did it get?
It got 95.
Very good. Correct. That was 96%.
This week you're just giving me good animated films, aren't you? Just great
Perhaps.
animated films. Okay, here we go.
Perhaps.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, here we go. I will say that the Metacritic score is 96 as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is the number one film. It shouldn't be, considering that Psycho is a movie that exists. So let's move on to the next one. Mission Impossible. I'm Tom Cruise, but now I am dead, so this is a ghost protocol.
The protocol for Tom Cruise dying is that they bring back his ghost, but don't ever reference it, tell anybody. It's just the movie.
That's why he could do all those cool stunts, because he doesn't fear death anymore.
Well, in the Ghost Protocol, I believe... Oh, I know why you chose this movie, because it's directed by Brad Bird. I know that fact.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you.
I don't know
I
why.
know your name.
I don't know why you're being so
I know your name.
abusive about it.
You bloody curly-haired Scott Martin. I know about you.
Hey.
And your Brad Bird.
Hey. Get my personal life out of this.
I know about your dogs, and your family.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
and where you live. Brad Bird's film, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
It got 95.
Yes, it got 93%.
Damn, yeah. Another good film.
Another excellent film.
Yeah.
And another correct answer for Ollie.
Good on me.
What about Tomorrowland?
Another Brad Bird film. You Can't Catch Me Out, Scott Martin. Lover of Kanye West and radio.
Oh no, too many secrets.
No, I don't think...
Is The Fruit Is Acute going to be the audience members like go to, like, we got to find out more about Scott, and every week you give away one more detail about my life?
Well,
and my eventual Wikipedia page is just going to be source from this specific segment of each of these shows.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how did we find out so much about Scott Martin? In the history books.
Look at this guy. Look at this sick boy.
Oh, we really
get out of here.
Releasing a lot of personal information in this segment. Anyway, I'll cancel that riff because I forgot.
Your specific information was your DNA information from spitting all over the microphone. All right, what did Tomorrowland get?
Oh, well, it only got 55, didn't it?
No, and you are so close. It got 49%. You were 1% off.
Oh, I could break something.
Oh, that must hurt.
I could. Yeah, I could break something. And I was so close to getting them all right this week, wasn't I? I've never done that before.
I don't think you've ever gone the whole 5, no.
Nah, I've never get a successful run.
Tomorrowland. Don't worry about it. You have already said what you believe The Incredibles 2 has. You're going to stick by your answer of 94%?
Yes, I will. 96.
That is because... No, it was 94. You lose. You're out of here.
No. I'm editing that out. I will edit that out.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the end of that game. Before we end the show, Ollie, I've got a bit of content for you that you don't know about.
Okay.
How often are you checking the Gmail?
Not often.
Well, I check it every now and then, and we've got some mailbag to discuss.
Fan mail?
Yep. Let's go into this first one here. This one was sent at 6:40 a.m. from info@twitter.com.
Yeah.
And the subject line is follow player 1, I heart Green Guide letters, and Geraldine Hickey on Twitter. Now, the message reads, ignorance is pod. Who to follow? Here are some recommendations Here are some accounts we recommend you follow. Mosh Pit on Sin, and 2 others followed Player 1 at Sin. That's a Sin gaming radio show, 6 to 8 p.m. Friday nights on Sin Nation. It also recommends that we follow I Heart Green Guide Letters. So I Love Green Guide Letters is a podcast reviewing the week's letters to the Age Green Guide TV. At least that is what it's meant to be, hosted by Steele Saunders. And it also recommends that we follow Geraldine Hickey, whose subject line is I'm a comedian. Facebook.com/Geraldine Hickey. Instagram Geraldine Hickey. Co-host on Breakfasters on 3 Triple R FM and based in Melbourne. So how do you respond to that one?
Well, Twitter, thanks for writing. It does mean a lot. We do often put out the Gmail so anyone can get in touch. And I think what they're trying to say, we should look at other content because they think we're bad and they're trying to show us good content.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking it as a bit of an attack. To be honest, Twitter.
Oh, really? Okay. You're gonna.
Yeah.
The first fan mail that we read on the show, you're gonna set this up on yourself as being the bad
I feel
cop
like
in this situation.
when we handed out the Gmail, we thought we'd be getting people saying, "Hey, love the show. What is your favorite type of lasagna?" And I thought, I often spent a long time thinking about that in case anyone were to ask.
Yes.
But now Twitter's actually launched a bit of a hate mail, and it's not what it was for.
Okay.
So are we able to blacklist Twitter?
Well,
is that something we can do?
Maybe. Look, before we'll make that decision at the end of the pod. Let me read this other one that we got on the 23rd of May, which was ages ago. We missed it from ages ago. All right. This is from verify@twitter.com.
Okay.
With the subject line, new login to Twitter from Chrome on Mac. And the message reads, we noticed a recent login for your account at Ignorance is Pod. Device, Chrome on Mac, and location, Melbourne, Victoria. If this was you, great. There's nothing else you need to do. If it wasn't you, your account may have been compromised. And you should take a few steps to make sure your account is secure. To start, reset your password now. Now, Ollie, where are you from?
I'm not from Melbourne, Victoria. I'm from Perth, Australia.
Neither am I.
That is concerning.
Have we been hacked?
And I think, do you know what I think? Yeah, I think, yes, we have. And I think, or this is a Twitter prank and this is bullying. This is because Twitter knows this would rile us, and it is very concerning if it were true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But once again, Twitter is down our throats, trying to get us off the internet, afraid of our influence and what we have to say, afraid of our message.
I think you're right. I think we're gonna have to blacklist Twitter
now
from our Gmail account.
What I would recommend is that we send our own email to Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and inform him that he has been logged in on another account from Perth, Australia. And then, that's a bit of a sort of kind of telling him, we know where you are from, and we're letting you know where we're from. And if you would like to fight,
we're up to it. We'll do it. I'll fight Jack. I will do it.
Jack
After all
Dorsey,
these
get down
threats,
here.
This is similar to the Kanye West tweet saying, Mark Zuckerberg, please invest in Kanye West $1 billion ideas. This is our version of that, saying, Jack Dorsey, come to Perth, Western Australia, for an absolute brawl. We will mess you up.
Yeah, we know some strong people, don't we, Scott? I'm pretty strong.
Michael, that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boy is he thin. Possibly not strong.
All right, let's move on.
Bloody get him.
Before this turns into a real fight with Twitter. Hey, that brings us to the end of the show for another week. We did it, Ollie. Round of applause.
Sure does.
If you would like to get in contact with the show and send us compliments rather than actual threats, you can do that on our Gmail. ignoranceisthispodcast@gmail.com. Send us nice, lovely things. We'll read it out on the show. For example, Ollie, we've got some new reviews.
Oh, did we? Surely not from Twitter.
Not from Jack. Jack, no. He does not like the show. No, let's see. We've got a podcast from Brian, and he said, quickly becoming a favorite podcast of mine. This is a really great podcast. It's funny, informative, and cerebral. The guys have me thinking about films in a much deeper capacity than I usually do.
Oh, thanks,
R16 R1612 wrote, great concept, great show. The idea of the show is brilliant, and the hosts are fun and likable. Check it out. That's very sweet. Thank you very much.
It's nice of you to call me likable. Thanks. Cheers.
Interesting that was your reply. And also, we got another 5-star review from Phil, who is named, aptly named, Phil Be the Best. We agree as well. You are the best for writing fun times. This podcast is an awesome conversation / review of movies. By limiting one of the hosts' knowledge of the movie, it allows for greater contrast of opinions regarding the movie. I enjoyed the bond these two have and the ease at which the conversation flows. Give it a listen and you won't be disappointed. How sweet is all that, Ollie?
It is very sweet. I'm glad he thinks that I'm easier to talk to. That's good.
So funny that you're saying that again. Anyway, if you would like to review us, please do that. We'll read you out on the show like we just did just now. So go on to iTunes, rate us 5 stars, and we will talk about that on the show. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, that is twitter.com/ignoranceispod. And if you'd
strongly
like to
recommend not using the platform though.
Yes.
But anyway,
boycott
carry on.
Twitter. Hashtag boycott Twitter, and hashtags are only effective on Twitter. So this isn't the best. And if you would like to shoot us a like on Facebook, that is Ignorance Is This Podcast as well. We post really cool art designed by our artist Eden, and she's actually set up a very own Ignorance Is This Podcast Tumblr account, which is ignoranceisthispodcast.tumblr.com, where she's posting full HD resolution art, heaps of cool content relating to the show, heaps of cool content relating to the movies that we're talking about, and even recently now she is writing about her own opinions on the movies that we discuss, or maybe the movies that we missed for a week. So go over there, give that a follow, and check it out at ignoranceisthispodcast.tumblr.com. Those are all the plugs, I believe.
As we like to always end the show on a haiku about the movie we have watched this week, we will do that again today. And I have written a little haiku about The Incredibles 2. Alright, so here's my little haiku. Though he gets cut off, Sam L. Jackson loves to curse. He deaf said, "What the?"
He did. Where was that again in the film? I picked it up. But...
It's some sort of action scene. But I swear, like, it sounded as if he had definitely said it, but then they, in audio editing, just cut it out.
See, that makes it a lot funnier.
Yeah. I think I might have heard the start of the F, but yeah.
For the Ultra HD 4K release of the film, we'll find that and clip it and chuck it on the Tumblr account.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Good night, Australia.
Goodbye, everyone.